What do you want for him to answer
Speaking to the
question?
moderator, I do want the exact passage that matches my question. He
All right.
said, I'm in sin for having more than one woman. I'm asking him to show me a passage that says if I have more than one woman, I'm in sin. That's what I'm asking him. And
All
I
right.
want the scripture.
Now, this is a really fair question to ask. Show me in the Bible where it says, if I have multiple wives, I would be in sin. And this is probably Captain Terazak, whatever his name is, best position in this entire debate. This is probably the best question he asked at all, ever, the whole damn time, probably ever in his life.
Exact scripture. Hang on. Let me pull it up here. 1 second. Can you pull up real quick 1 Timothy verse 3 and 2?
Yeah, I got it in front of me. Man. I got it.
Can you read it?
A bishop then must be blameless, the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach.
Okay, and then what about 12?
Verse 12. Let the deacons be the husbands of one wife, ruling their children and their own houses well.
All right, let me tell you guys that this right here, this is like a horrible reference for claiming that polygyny is a sin. All right, and let me explain this. All right, I will explain why that this is like the worst, reference to try to use. And the reason is because, number one, 1 Timothy 3 is an overused and misapplied text, right, against polygyny in the Bible. Specifically, verse 2, where Paul says an overseer, which means bishop, must be the husband of one wife. Opponents to polygyny tend to seize on that phrase right there as an absolute moral law against multiple wives. But this argument collapses under even a basic level of biblical exegesis and historical context. First, it's a leadership qualification, not a universal moral command. 1 Timothy 3, it's not a list of universal laws for all believers. It's a list of qualifications for church leadership. Just as able to teach and not a recent convert applies specifically to the office of elder, so does husband of one wife. It's about setting a higher standard for those in positions of spiritual authority, a standard that goes beyond and above what is required for the average believer. Now, if the husband of one wife meant polygyny was a sin, then by that same logic, only elders would be forbidden from sinning, and the rest of the church could commit that sin freely, which makes no sense, right? Second problem with that argument is Paul uses the same words for deacon and widows without banning anything. Further go down to 1 Timothy 5:9, Paul says a widow must have been the wife of one husband to be enrolled for the church support. No one claims this verse outlaws remarriage after a spouse's death. The phrase husband of one wife in Greek, mias gonakigos Andrea, or whatever it is an idiomatic expression of meaning a one-woman man in terms of faithfulness and not marital quantity. It's about character, not counting marriage license overall. All right, the third problem here with this is if it outlawed polygyny, it would contradict the Old Testament and God himself. God gave laws regulating polygyny in Deuteronomy 21:15 through 17. Already showed you that, as well as Exodus 21:10. I showed you that as well. And blessed men who practiced it, such as Abraham, Jacob, David, and others. If Paul were declaring that polygyny sinful for everyone, he would be calling God's own law unjust and branding God approved patriarchs as sinners. That would put Paul in direct violation of Deuteronomy 4:2, you shall not add to the word, and make him a false teacher. So it cannot be there. Paul is actually saying this is a sin. And then number 4, the fourth problem I have with this, the Greek text does not say must have only one. It reads literally as a man of one woman, which is, a qualification description, not a numeral limitation by any means. It's the same as saying a faithful man or a devoted husband. The early church leaders recognized this as a call to sexual purity and fidelity, not a ban on polygyny. And lastly, number 5, those who use 1 Timothy 3 to ban polygyny almost never apply it consistently. If a husband of one wife forbids multiple wives, then logically, wife of one husband in 1 Timothy 5:9 forbids multiple husbands, meaning the remarriage after divorce or widowhood would also be sinful. Yet most churches ignore that, proving that they cherry pick the phrase to fit the modern culture's discomfort with polygyny rather than sticking to what biblical consistency is. So that's why I think that whole argumentation is
very nice words, but
happens to be wrong. Wrong.